What is good, guys? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. What was looking to be a comfortable 2-0 win against Genoa in the end turns out to be a slightly shaky at the end 2-1 win. So still a win, no clean sheet. And I think that was my prediction in the pregame. It's always difficult out there, the Marassi at Genoa, but the most important thing is the 3 points. And I thought it was pretty convincing performance. Yes, shaky. Yes, definitely some mistakes. And by the way, let me know if I am coming out of the correct mic before we proceed, because I know recently, I think I just need to make sure nowadays that I'm coming from the correct mic, because sometimes you guys have told me it's the software just puts me on the wrong mic, and then I end up sounding like I'm far away. Okay, yeah, thank you very, very much, Mattia, for the heads up, and of course for you were the first guy to comment before I even started the live stream. So shouts out to you, Mattia. And yeah, just like we have been talking about now, big games into lose, but small games, small teams into win. The only one where it didn't happen was the Udinese game. So that was the one off. We got it out of the way, the Udinese game. But apart from that, apart from every big game, there was one, the Roma one that we won. But apart from that, Inter have become quite predictable. But I like it. Do you know what? This is my opinion. I was gonna say it last week. I think if you guys were watching my live stream last week, I stopped myself from saying this opinion because I know a lot of people don't agree with me. But this is, to me, winning against all smaller teams is, I'll take it over not winning against a small team. Because in my opinion, so if you say there's 5, 6 big games, 6 times 2, 12, okay? 12 games out of the 38, the remainder, the remaining, 26 games, that's where you win the Scudetto, because that's 26 times 3, that's 78 points. And then obviously you can't lose every big game. So I'm not saying that that's how you win the Scudetto, 78 points, win all the small teams. But to me, it's more important to win against the team that you're supposed to win. And then obviously we need to get some wins in the big games, like, 3 points, one, especially a draw. A draw. I was going to celebrate a draw today as well. Obviously not after being 2-0 up. I wouldn't have celebrated it, but just even the draw would have been all right. But to me, like even last season, guys, we were shit in the big games. Absolute shite in the big games. But in the end, we literally could have won. We could have won it. We were right there. Just 1 or 2 more points. Like obviously that that Lazio game, or the where we lost points or along the road, wherever you want to count it. So to me, at least, this is a big hurdle that you see, like today, Milan, Napoli. Sometimes it's a little hurdle that sometimes you underestimate these teams. Remember how many times we talked about it, Inter playing down to the opponent. We used to talk about it last season a lot, or under Inzaghi a lot, apart from the Seconda Stella season. And even with our 4 losses at the moment, we go top. And great performance by Lautaro, great goal by Bisseck as well. Both of them, by the way, with their weak foot, which is why I chose my title, Weak Foot Inter Go Top, because Lautaro with his weaker left foot and Bisseck with his weaker left foot. Lovely, lovely goals. Well, the Bisseck one, probably, the goalkeeper, Andrew Tate, Leali, who looks like Andrew Tate should have saved. But still, for Bisseck to do that and get it on target, that's the key. But Lautaro's one was, so good. But yeah, let me get into some of your comments and reactions before we get into it. We'll talk about the goal that we conceded, who was at fault. Definitely some discussion about Jan Sommer there, but I feel like there's a couple of guys before that where we need to talk about before Jan Sommer. Yeah, let's go. Max Bisseck, new starter. Probably. I mean, this is probably the back line I want and like the most at the moment, or should have been from the start of the season. You guys know me. I've said it from the start of the season. Okay, yeah, maybe Bisseck can play center back, but if it's going to be a center back, it has to be Manuel Akanji, because otherwise Bisseck is wasted. Bisseck's abilities are so wasted. Like, what's the point of playing Bisseck center back when all of his qualities are the ability to run with the ball, go forward, be a goal threat. Also, he's able to cut in on his left. and he likes going forward. He doesn't like really being a defender, pure defender, which is what you have to do as a centre back. You're just wasting him. And I feel Akanji, of course, way more athletic and physical compared to a Cherby De Vrij. If you want to play high line, high press, this is in reality, if Kivu wants to play his football, the back three that should always be played. So I was happy that Kivu made that decision. There was De Vrij in the predicted lineups, but in the end, he chose for Akanji in the middle. And in general, I thought he had a pretty good game. Kobo Libra says, I like Zielinski, the right substitution today. No chance to be caught out on the counter. Yeah, that was a good substitution in the end, just to solidify things at the back from Kivu. And yes, Zielinski had another solid game. A little bit of drop off in the second half, but another really solid game at the position he doesn't like to play in, but we know he can play in CDM. Defense still conceding goals from every single chance. That must change. I mean, that wasn't even a chance. The poor defending on that goal is what created the chance. They gifted that goal. That was awful. One of the worst goals we've conceded this season. Amongst that goal that we conceded against who was it? Kairat, I think it was the one that got that corner that we conceded. Really awful goal that we conceded. This is definitely amongst those awful goals we conceded, because we literally just gifted that opportunity to them from nothing, from just a long ball lumped up for nothing. But of course, we're so glad to be able to take advantage when Napoli and Milan dropped points. Napoli lost to Udinese. I hate watched that game. It was lovely, a lovely hate watch. First, Zaniolo's goal was cancelled, but luckily afterwards, the Kellenkamp again. He did it again. The same guy that scored an amazing goal against them last season did it again. Napoli were awful. Milan, Sassuolo, didn't get to watch that game. I watched the highlights. Sassuolo looked like they were good. They even could have had a penalty, or should have had a penalty in the end. So Milan almost even lucky to get away with a draw on that one. So it feels nice that Inter are able to take advantage of these. I saw many people tweeting before the game like, Napoli losing, Milan dropping points. That means Inter are going to drop points now as well. Like, we're so damaged. We've seen Inter over the last year or so just dropping these types of games. But that's another credit I got to give to Kivu, the boys today. The games that we should win, especially when other teams are dropping points, I'm glad that we are able to not look down on the team, not, put our concentration down, put our foot on the gas, and make sure that, that basically that first half won us the game. That's what happened today. We had a fantastic first half, fantastic first half an hour, pressed Genoa, made their life difficult. They couldn't play out. The few chances we created, maybe could have scored more, but 2 goals, boom. Even there with their 1 goal, but the game was done in that first half. So that's fantastic that we were able to do that. That we started well, didn't end great, but that start was good enough. And then the end, we managed to, manage the win until the end. Ivan says his Napoli supporting friend went to Milan to watch today from Serbia, and jinxed both teams. Fantastic. Great job from your friend. Eduardo is in here. Positivity FC, thank you for the donation. Top of the league. Where are all the Kivu haters? Yes, where are all the Kivu haters? Of course, this is the day for Positivity FC to come out and rap a bit, because of course, Negativity FC in the last few days after the Liverpool loss, after the umpteenth big game loss, the Negativity FC have been feeling themselves, because of course, Inter keep dropping big games. Questions have to be asked. We are tired of seeing this, but at the same time, we are now top of the Serie A table, and we still are top 8 in the Champions League table, which probably won't be by the end of it. I'll be real. I don't think we're going to finish top 8 in the Champions League now with the 2 games that we have left. But, for what we have right now, for what we have achieved right now, with what Kivu was given or not given in the summer, which is basically nothing. This is good work by Kivu, of course. Nowhere near perfect. A lot of work to do, a lot of improvement to do. But we're there. We're right there where we should be. Like, if Kivu wasn't in and around here, even if we were, on 31 or 32 or 30 points, I would still be quite happy with what Kivu, in my expectations. If Kivu was on 27 points where Roma are, then I would have not been impressed with, because the team. I know everyone is tired, sick and tired of seeing the same guys. We are mentally, and kind of just the enthusiasm isn't there when we see the exact same guys line up, because we've seen these guys for many years now. But regardless of what you think, and I think, these guys are very, very, very good footballers, guys. In Serie A, these guys are still the best team out there. Whether it's the full, 25-man squad, we can have a conversation, with Napoli after they spend a lot of money this summer to get players. But this team remains super, super strong. So even with a super rookie coach like Kivu, my expectation was to be challenging for the Scudetto with these guys. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. And yeah, as Osne says, winning in Genoa is no joke. I mean, let me have a quick look at our recent. I didn't do that in my match preview for some reason. I completely forgot. But I feel like, yeah, look at that. Like our recent record away. Look at that. So last season, we know that was the first game of the season last year. We dropped the ball. That was the Bisseck handball, last minute penalty, if I remember. So we drew there. And then away again the season before, we drew there. And then the season before, we lost there. So it shows you, like, it's Genoa away for Inter. The Marassi, it's not easy. At home is a completely different story. You can see at home we pretty much always beat them, but away it's yeah. Look, if I keep going back, this is actually Genoa away. This is actually a real bogey fixture, guys. Look at that. There's no win away to Genoa until today. From last few years, this is really a bogey fixture. So again, you're gonna underestimate this win because it's Genoa, a small club. Lautaro's goal is gonna be looked down upon because it's Genoa, small club. But this is a difficult fixture. And yeah, Genoa, the Marassi, small stadium, historic team, the oldest team in Serie A. Very hot fan base, very warm atmosphere, hot atmosphere. It was insane, as Mr. Fruity says, and it was not easy. It was not easy, and yeah, maybe at the end we had to park the bus a little bit, or whatever you want to call it, but that was needed. Winning against small teams, Barella dancing, then back here inside the box, Lautaro scoring, tick, tick, tick. Yeah, I think we're all getting fed up of the Barella back heel now. I want to see Barella shoot more, back heel less, just be a bit more, concise, more decisive Barella. We are missing the decisive Barella, but I thought Barella was pretty good in the first half. Like most of our players were. Eduardo, again, thank you again for the second donation. This one even bigger. Really appreciate that, bro. And yeah, now of course, next up is the Supercoppa Italia, which I care about this year. I'll be real. This year I'll care about because it is a test. Last year we dropped it. I didn't care about it. The fact that we lost to Milan, of course, hurts, but I didn't really care about it the last season. But I feel like this year, I think it could be a nice building block for Kivu, for the players to rebuild confidence, to maybe win a big game. So yeah, if we get to the final of the Supercoppa, that's definitely a big game, regardless if it's against whoever is against. But yeah, that's a great way to sign off before we fly off to Saudi Arabia for the Supercoppa. Yeah, our first game will be against Bologna. Then we'll see who will be up next after that. Actually, who even is in the bloody Supercoppa? Let me have a quick look. I know it's Bologna and obviously Napoli as the winners, but then Milan. Oh yeah, Milan. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it could be. Then it's definitely a big game. Whoever is in the final, if we beat Bologna, then it's definitely a big game, regardless if you care about it or not. But I feel like, last season we know the Supercoppa was probably the big early red flag of this team, the mentality of this team, losing that Supercoppa to Milan, the way that we lost it. We were 2-0 or 2-1 up against them, and when we lost it. So that's why, for me, after what happened last season and the way that after that we kind of seem to be just not good in the key moments, that to me is going to tell me where this team is in the big games and the big moments, if they finally got over the heartbreak of last season. Yeah, 100% Mattia, agree with you. You can win the league without winning big games, but you can't win cup competition without being big teams. Of course, like, you know, this would be in the Supercoppa, perfect example. Like, you have to beat one of Napoli and Milan if you want to win the cup. But of course, like, as I said, you can't lose every big game. Like, you have to get some points in big games at least. Like, even if it's a draw, like, you know, away in Napoli, I'll bite your hand off for a 1-1 draw. But yeah, Napoli, Zielinski is back. Ahmed says, yeah, I think we've seen that now, Ahmed, for a few weeks now. I think it's clear Napoli, Zielinski is back, and he deserves a starting spot, whether it's a CDM or left centre mid or even right centre mid. Most ideally at the left centre mid, Zielinski should be a starter right now. I think it's Zielinski, Barella, Hakan. I think in terms of the ideal starting trio, I think that's three. I think Zielinski has overtaken Mkhitaryan, and I think he's definitely ahead of Sucic, who was positive today in the first half, but then dropped off in the second half. But yeah, Zielinski, and you guys know, if you follow me on this channel, Ian as well. Ian knows. Ian was he was one of those guys that was always telling me about Zielinski, like, bro, I'm not happy about this signing. He's done. And I was trying to be positive last year about Zielinski, like, come on, Ian, like, give him a chance, give him some, because I love Zielinski, as I've always said. If you know those midfielders outside of Inter, there was Milinkovic-Savic, of course, those ballers that you really appreciate. You know, those guys that outside of Inter you appreciate, midfielders that you want at Inter. Marek Hamsik, Nainggolan, obviously we got him, but a bit too late. Milinkovic-Savic, Zielinski, Fabian Ruiz, I used to really like as well when he was at Napoli. But Zielinski was one of those guys I always like, oh, wish he was at Inter. Like, I love watching Zielinski play. What a baller. And finally, now I think we can confidently say, actually, I want to know, Ian, has he finally changed your mind as well? Because I know Ian, even last season, even though he was just like, I don't think Zielinski had a bad season last year. He was just always like a 6 out of 10. Like, he was just very basic, not doing anything. And then obviously, as he would get injured or a little tiny injury, then he'll be out. I don't think Inzaghi really trusted him. He played him mainly as a regista, which he didn't really enjoy. So I'm interested to see if he's even managed to turn around the people that didn't like Zielinski. Shouts out to Anthony and Inter Worldwide. Our link up is coming soon. The 2 up top. It has been a while since we've linked up, but it will be coming in the next few days, probably on Tuesday. So keep a lookout on both channels for the announcement of that live stream for 2 up top, which is the podcast we do together. Bastoni and Kanji Fogo. Yeah, let's go through some of the what's it called? The highlights and the screenshots that I've taken. Black Blue Legacy, what's up, brother? What's your opinion on Luis Enrique now? He's not Dalbert, maybe not on the same level as DiMarco on Dumfries. To be honest, a very flat match from Luis Enrique today. Again, I'm not going to call anyone a Dalbert. What I was saying is that I can see where people were saying it, because I wasn't on the Dalbert train on Luis Enrique. I'm still not going to say he's a Dalbert or anything, but after that Como game, now this is 2 games where he's basically done nothing. Against Liverpool, he basically did nothing. And today, again, very, very flat performance from Luis Enrique. When he has these type of performances, which is basically the 95% of the time that he's been at Inter, is like, there's nothing negative. I can't say point out anything particularly negative that he did today, but it's just, he's just kind of there for the ride. Like, he's decent on the ball. He has some nice passes, but nothing like, incisive, just like, nice 4 or 5 yard passes to his teammates, nice little combinations, but nothing that really moves the needle. He's just like a body there sometimes that's, a good footballer, but definitely nothing Dalbert worthy. But I don't really know whether he's really staking a claim to be the future of Inter at right wing back, if you know what I mean. I'm still not quite convinced by him. Just like, not technically. I think technically he's a solid player, but I don't think he's really convincing me in terms of, this guy is going to be the future when Dumfries leaves, or really challenging Dumfries when he comes back at the moment. That is my opinion. But yeah, let's go through some of the screenshots so we can go through the positives and the negatives. Okay, let's go through the goal that we conceded, and then we can go on the positive side of things. Because I did take the screenshots, and I agree with you, Joseph. Like this with this defense, even though these are the guys that I want to see starting, Bisseck, Akanji, Bastoni, and it's the big guys like in this action. So it was basically a big ball lumped up. Sorry about the blurry screenshot. Big ball lumped up by Genoa on the Inter's right hand side, their left hand side. Maybe I don't know where I need to rewatch whether Bisek was out of position or he was kind of pressing high up. Akanji gets caught out a little bit. We have to be honest there. He's behind Ekuban, who's came on as a substitute. He's running in behind, but it's not a dangerous situation. Where the big mistake is here, you can see in the second screenshot, Akanji is expecting that someone was covering for him. This is very lazy from Bastoni. Bastoni, it's been a few weeks now. Us Inter fans are on his back because he has been the naive mistake against Liverpool, some naive or poor defending in Serie A. It's been a few weeks now that we've been on Bastoni's back. I know Anthony from Inter Worldwide has been on this. You know, he's a big Bastoni fan, as we all are, but you got to call it as you see it. Bastoni here and then has to cover for Akanji. It's a 2v1 there. It's 2v2 in terms of the guys there, but Akanji's there on his own against two guys. Bastoni, for some reason, I don't know if he's feeling like, oh, it's Akanji, that's all right. He's going to have that feeling confident in his player, or he's overconfident in his player, or it's just absolute laziness there. Because why is he not covering for Akanji there? Or is he not seeing Vitinha? Vitinha, the guy that's running behind next to Akanji, running past Ekuban. Ekuban passes it into his path, and look at that. Vitinha is 1v1 against Zoma. From one ball lumped up, Ekuban takes one touch into space, into Vitinha, and they're 1v1 on Zoma. So, of course, Akanji, initial blame, but Bastoni there, absolutely asleep, absolutely unacceptable. The defensive IQ and the defensive positioning there from Bastoni. And obviously, I'm using air quotes because there isn't any IQ and positioning there from Bastoni. If Bisek did that, like imagine the hate that Bisek would get from if he was defending like that. And then Jan Sommer, I've seen people blame Jan Sommer. Yes, probably, maybe he could do a bit better. But Vitinha has the momentum. He's running into Sommer, and he just takes a pass quite easily and taps it in for an empty goal. So yeah, maybe some blame to go around for Sommer, but I think Vitinha does fantastically well to just take it around him, use his momentum and his speed that he already has. Pass there. Guys know I've not been happy with Jan Sommer here this season in general, but I'm not really sure how much I would really blame him in this particular action here, in my opinion. But yeah, awful goal to concede. One of the worst goals conceded this season, in my opinion. I don't even think, in my opinion, just objectively, one ball lumped up in behind. That's Sunday League defending. You cannot be conceded from a long ball lumped up to the centre forwards. And they're both like on the side as well. It's not like it was lumped forward in the middle. It's a goal conceded from the side. They've ended up from a 1v1 from all the way on their left hand side. That is Sunday League defending. Very, very poor. Thank you for the other donation from Samir Synthesis. Good to see you, bro. Long time. I haven't seen you around, but good to see you, man. I don't see you around on Twitter anymore. I don't know if you are on X Twitter anymore. Used to be very active, but very, very much appreciate your donation. And according to him, Kivu has done beyond his expectations, which is fair. I think a lot of us, my expectations were definitely for this team to be challenging for the Scudetto. But if you ask me, do I expect Kivu, specifically Kivu, when he was appointed, whether he would be doing this, that we would be top match day 15? Probably not. Probably not, because again, I just had very little something to base off my. If I was confident with Kivu, would be just based off positivity, because I had only seen these games at Parma where he did well. But apart from that, I've had very little to go off. And quite a lazy transfer window in the summer, in my opinion, from the board. So yeah, I somewhat agree with Samir, but the team, my explanation for the team is definitely where we are right now. But with Kivu, of course, there was more doubt for me. Ahmed says, I need that cup. That Milan comeback hurts. Yeah, I agree with you. This year, I actually do care about the Super Cup. I actually do. Zielinski was impressive, but he hates defending. Yeah, Mac, we know he does. That's why in the second half, I think he did dip off a little bit. That's in these moments is where we missed Hakan. In the first half, Zielinski, I thought he actually played better than Hakan in some ways. Like he just keeps the ball cruising, just left, right, carries it when there's space. He carries it. He's so confident. He's so technically sound. Top baller. Kept it moving, very, very nice, smooth. Then in the second half, when there was defending to be done, when there was some, moments to get stuck in, that's when I was missing Hakan. But yeah, we know. And that's why I would have preferred Barella to be playing at CDM. And I think Barella CDM arc is something that needs to happen soon. So yeah, we didn't see it, but I think Zielinski overall did quite well as a regista today. Continuing on, Zielinski, Ian, I'm happy to see Zielinski performing, but I was right about him last year. Yeah, no, I'm not against you in terms of last year. You were right 100% last year, Ian. As I had to say, I was disappointed with Zielinski as a Zielinski fan last year. But at least he has turned it around this year, which is good to see. Even the Zielinski doubters, or not the Zielinski fans, were happy, but the Zielinski doubters for now have been turned around, which is fair play to Zielinski. Very much improved, as Ian says. For Copa, we should just play the youngsters and focus on Serie A. I disagree, Mac. This year, as I said, maybe the Bologna game, a bit of rotation. But it never happens. It never happened under Inzaghi. I don't think Kivu's going to do that either, because you go to Saudi Arabia, you're there, you're going to play the extra game anyway, so you might as well go for it. And it's a good way to get the season kick-started with a trophy, half a trophy, but it's still a trophy. Thank you, Zeki, as well, who has joined the channel membership. Very, very much appreciate your support, Zeki. Don't really appreciate the Icardi profile picture there, but thank you very much for the support. Yeah, I would have kept Lautaro on today because I felt like, he is fantastic at pressing and keeping the pressure going and winning fouls, winning duels when you need him. So subbing him off at the 84th minute, I didn't really think made too much sense. For Andy Juve as well, I don't really see why that, because then you change the formation to kind of a 3-4-2-1. I didn't really get that, to be honest, but in the end, it worked. But I agree with Mac. Yeah, really, really good. Really, really good. Should we sign Malinovsky? No, we don't need another midfielder, and we don't. Yeah, Malinovsky now at the age of 32? Yeah, that boat has sailed. That ship has sailed for Malinovsky now. It's a shame for him because of some serious injuries. I think he did deserve a bigger team, Malinovsky. I mean, he was at Atalanta, but it didn't quite work out for him at Atalanta. So I think he deserved an Atalanta level team. Malinovsky, for that left foot is just chef's kiss. But nah, not at this age now, even as a free transfer. No need for Malinovsky. Akanji's yellow was a little bit soft. I agree. Maybe there was that could be the reason why he didn't make a tackle there, because he was on a yellow, which is, why Inzaghi used to sub out guys on a yellow, so they would be able to, take a yellow in key moments like there. Maybe. But yeah, still, the fact that he let him slip in behind, that wasn't particularly good defending. Bastoni not good enough this season. I think he had a very good start this season. I think first couple of months was quite good from Bastoni, and then he's definitely had a dip last couple of few weeks for sure. Bastoni, still obviously the starter, still obviously one of our most valuable players, one of the leaders of this team. So we expect better from him, but it's just not been to the level required and expected. It feels like Augusto disappears in games when he plays as a left wing back. He's a lot better as a left centre back. I think we always have it's always like up and down with Augusto. Some days he's like he looks like, oh, he looks better as a left centre back. Oh, actually, he looks better as a wing back. That's his actual position. Oh, no, actually, he looks better. I think it's always up and down with Augusto. Because he's not technically that solid. But I appreciate him in games like this today. He wasn't great going forward, but against Norton Cuffy, he just keeps it. You need a solid performance. It was a battle out there, and that's what it was. Look at that: 4 out of 7 ground duels, 4 out of 5 aerial duels. You just needed a dog out there. I don't think DiMarco today was suited for the game today. It was very physical, not very technical game. In the first half, actually, DiMarco could have really balled out in the first half when we were controlling the game. But second half, we needed Augusto. We needed that dog out there. But yeah, nothing impressive from Augusto for sure. Thank you, Zeki, as well, for the donation as well. Were you impressed by Norton, Cuffy, and Friendrup? Friendrup, no. Friendrup, no. I just don't find him that impressive in general. He is just a dog, and in a good way. Like, every team needs a dog in midfield sometimes, a guy that wins your duels and runs around and keeps it simple. Maybe the profile, I'm not against the profile of Morten Friendrup because he's completely different from what we have. He's someone that doesn't know how to shoot, doesn't know how to assist, but he just knows how to win the ball back and pass it 5-10 yards max. Keep it simple. That's all he does. So it's a completely different profile to anything that we have at Inter. But I don't think he's big club material. As a starter, maybe he could do a job, in a Roma team in a 3-4-1, 3-4-2-1, as just a up and down player at Atalanta in the 3-4-2-1 as well, like that guy, like a Martin de Roon, someone like that just keeps things simple. For Inter, I don't really like him. I don't really see the need to sign him. But as I said, he would add something different to our midfield. But no, thank you, in my opinion. Norton Cuffy, on the other hand, I did nothing impressive again from him. Like, I wouldn't say it's a particularly impressive game from him, but he does add. I do like. So he adds this kind of English, up and down, get it up, son, boot it up, son, no nonsense mentality, but he's actually decent technically as well. I know the passing here doesn't really show it because today he only completed 16 out of 25, but that's because they were just trying to launch balls up into the strikers and he didn't compete any dribbles, but he's got decent pace. He's a dog on and off the ball. He's quite tall as well. I think he's like 6'1". Yeah, but again, I wouldn't spend big money on him. I don't think he's starter material for Inter, but I could see him being a decent opportunity if he's available for something, nothing too expensive for Inter. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that, Zeki. But let me get back to the screenshot I took. So very, very good first half. It didn't start off great, but then goal out of nothing. We have to say that the first goal came out of literally nothing. Ball into Lautaro, into space. Lautaro turns around, passes it into Bisseck. And again, this is why, to me, Bisseck as a centre back would be completely wasted. He has this ability to create things when he goes forward. So he should be a white centre back, whether it's left centre back or right centre back. He did the same move that he did against Liverpool, if you guys remember, the one where we were claiming handball on Van Dijk, which maybe was handball by Van Dijk, where he cuts in, does like the Ronaldo chop, cuts in from his right foot onto his left, and then shoots. And here he shoots between the guy's legs, which completely throws off Andrew Tate, Nicola Leali in goal. Definitely way too slow to move. The shot wasn't that powerful. I mean, if Jan Zomo conceded this goal, you would have the pitchforks out. Pretty poor goalkeeping. But the fact that he wasn't probably expecting it, because this is what Bisseck does. He's able to do these kind of things that kind of take the opposition by surprise onto his left foot, weaker left foot, by the way, and hits it quite accurately, at least not powerful, but accurately into the near post. Very, very good goal for Bisseck. And then we could have scored another one. Pio Esposito does a little dummy, leaves it to Lautaro, but onto his left foot here, even though afterwards he did score off his left foot. But Lautaro can't get any power really, and quite central, this shot. But this was a pretty good opportunity for Lautaro. Pio Esposito almost scored from just a little ball, nice ball in behind from Barella, long ball in behind. Good game by Esposito, by the way. A lot of dirty work. Might not get a lot of credit today, Pio Esposito, because he hasn't got a goal or assist, but I appreciated his game today. Maybe could have scored here, but good save by Leali. Comes out, makes himself big, stops the shot from Pio, who's sliding to get to the ball. Could this have been a penalty on Sucic? Could it be maybe a little bit soft on the soft side in terms of how Sucic falls over? Not much contact, but Marcandali, the guy, was it Otto or Marcandali? I think it was Marcandali. Had both hands on Sucic. Nothing. He didn't get any of the ball. No contact on the ball. I've seen these given in Serie A this season. I've seen these given on the softer side. Maybe Sucic can stay up, but I've seen these given. And here is Lautaro's goal. This Lautaro goal was the definition of his nickname. They call him, his name is Lautaro, but they call him El Toro, the bull. And he was an absolute bull in a China shop here, bullying the Genoa defenders. First, he pushes one guy out of the way. Then he cuts in, gets the ball back. I think there was a little bit of a rebound, gets it back, and then hits it straight away with his weaker left foot. But this time he hits it with proper power, accuracy. This time I can't blame Leali. This was an absolute killer finish from Lautaro. Fantastic goal. The definition of El Toro Martinez. And that was the that first half. And by the way, with Lautaro, of course, as often criticized, I've criticized him this season quite rightly for the beginning that he's had. I've expected more from Lautaro this season, but you can see even today, if he didn't score, you can just see he's playing well right now. Lautaro keeps saying this. You can tell when Lautaro's in form or out of form, even if he's scoring or not scoring. Today he was playing well even without the goal. And on the left, just to show you, he himself has said, I am in the top 5 strikers in the world. Sometimes we also doubt him when he's, when he has those moments of drought. But when you extrapolate it to the last 5 seasons, he is right there. Numbers wise, he is spitting facts. That's an indictment or a testament to the low quality of the strikers in world football that we've had in the last decade or so, especially since after Cristiano and Messi left the game at the top level in terms of numbers, output numbers, and in terms of actual strikers outside of the Lewandowski, Kanes, etc. The output has been pretty low these days, let's be real. But Lautaro is there. So only 4 players who have 10 GA in the past 7 seasons in the top 5 European leagues. Kane, Haaland, Mbappe, and Lautaro. I'm surprised not to see Lewandowski in there, because I'm pretty sure Lewandowski should be in there, because he's done it. He's continued to do it at Barca, no? Unless he's not got it yet this season for Barca. That's why he's not in this tweet. But yeah, it just shows you that Lautaro is there in that conversation. Maybe he just needs those bigger moments, bigger performances against bigger teams in Champions League or World Cups, etc., for people to actually respect him. We'll see, Zeki. We'll see. You know how it is. It depends if people come with actual money. I don't think any team will actually come with actual money on the table unless it's a Premier League team. I don't think any Serie A teams is coming with money in January. So I doubt it, in my opinion. But if it does, if someone actually does come with solid money, not loan with option, if it's a loan with obligation for round about 30 million, I would take it. Boom, 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 David, top of Serie A over Christmas. That is nice. Yeah, that whole Frattesi swap for Kefren Turam rumor that I saw in the last couple of days. I mean, I'm only going to believe it when if that happens. I don't really know why they would do that. Let's get back into the swing of things. Anything else today? Oh no, those are all the screenshots that I took. The second half, really not much happened. There was a chance from Marcus Thuram, I think, from a header from a corner, if I remember correctly. Or was that Bisseck? Let me have a quick look on the shot map to see who it was in the second half. So, oh yeah, there was a decent opportunity for Esposito again. Again, he hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Oh, so it was Bisseck at the end. It was a Bisseck header from another corner. That was a decent opportunity. Oh no. So it was Thuram. Sorry, yeah, it was Thuram. It got saved. Yeah, at the end. That was a potentially nice way to wrap things up when Thuram came on as a substitute. But that's about it. In the second half was pretty tame, to be honest. Everything happened in the first half for Inter anyway. Second half was more Genoa. Not that Genoa created anything either as well, but just a little bit more. El Toro, yeah, I think El Toro at the moment is back. We know what he's like in the right Knicks knocks. So now he's on a streak. As soon as he goes on a streak, he goes on a streak for a few games. But as I said, it's not just the goals, it's like the performances, the touch, because Lautaro is a technical player. It's just that sometimes he runs around so much and tires himself out with his pressing and stuff that sometimes his touch lets him down. But when Lautaro is playing well, it's like he's playing today. Like his touch was on point mostly. His link-up play was on point mostly. And as always, he's fighting hard. And he was getting shots on target, at least. He weren't skewing. So yeah, you can see he had 4 out of 5 shots on target. There was no miscued shots, really. Yeah. Well, apparently he lost a lot of his duels here, but to me, I was enjoying his performance, especially in the first half. Pio, as I said, underrated performance. I really want him to get more goals under his belt, but he, I think someone commented. Let me see if I can find the comment. Someone said he plays a little bit too unselfishly, Pio. Let me see if I can find the comment. Yeah, we know Lautaro definitely scores the harder chances. Oh yeah, there Florence van Schuten says Pio's way too much of a team player, should pull the trigger more. Every opportunity passes the ball, bro, is 0% selfish. Yeah, watch some Blue Lock. But that's the thing. This is the thing with Pio, because he is the guy challenging Thuram and Lautaro. He feels like the guy that needs to be working hard and be unselfish. But I think once he kind of calms himself down and feels established in this team, you would see a different Pio. By the moment, he's playing with that mentality of the guy that needs to be fighting for his spot, quite rightly. But if he was, let's say Kivu says, you're going to play, or Thuram is out, you're going to play 3 or 4 games in a row and just be a bit more capable of like accepting that, okay, now I am the starter at Inter. I don't need to be running around like a headless chicken every time, and just, and he needs to save energy a little bit more. His body, like, it's great that he runs around and works so hard, because that's what, as a 20-year-old fighting for your spot, would be doing. But with his physique, he should be a bit more like, like guys like with his physique, Lukaku, for example, like, you can't be running around that much. You exert so much. He's got more muscles. Muscles need more oxygen. Like, he needs to calm himself a bit down if he wants to be a bit more, present with the ball and the ability to do more with the ball. Because at the moment he tires himself out with how much output he does. Look at the duels: 4 out of 5 duels, 4 out of 7 aerial duels, fouled 4 times. Like, he runs around so much. He gets a lot of physical battles that hurt him, that get him little pain or little injuries. Maybe if he was a little bit more free, working a little bit less, with more clarity in his mind, with a bit more composure, that could help him. So I think that will come with time. At the moment, he's in that period of life, and as a footballer, where he's fighting for his life. He wants to prove that he wants to be at Inter, and he deserves to be at Inter. So he'll get there. But I know exactly what you mean. Glad that I don't mind Lauti's slumps as much, since we have Pio Boni, exactly, unless he steps up a big game, which shortly. But who has Knicks knocks? who has stepped up in big games. Of course, we expect the Capitano to be one of those guys to do it. But all of these guys, it's not just Lautaro dropping the big games. Is as a team, they've been let down in big games, or Jan Sommer's not been quite at his A game in the big games either. So yeah, definitely we expect him to do more in big games. But they all have. Thuram also happy with the win, but not the finishing the shots. They have so many chances to shoot, but they pass instead. Yeah, I mean, Zeki, that is a big issue with these guys that I think we're going to keep speaking about all season long. All season long. Speaking of muscle, Sucic needs them. Yeah, Sucic. I don't necessarily think he needs to get into the gym or add muscle. He Brozovic didn't need to add muscle. We don't say that to Barella that he needs to add muscle. It's just Sucic needs to learn how to use his body. Like, you can be lean as well. There's plenty of midfielders out there that have this physique. You don't have to be muscly, but you need to learn how to use your body better, Sucic, which is something that he needs to learn how to do. Fede Valverde, for an example, someone that has a similar physique to Sucic, might be a little bit taller, but he doesn't need to be tall. He doesn't need to be muscly. He just needs to learn how to use his body. Like, when he goes into duels, Sucic, a lot of the times he either comes out, doesn't win the foul from the referee, so he's not really learned how to win the foul from Serie A referees yet, or he kind of dives in and just loses the duel. So today he was a little bit better on the stat wise, but again, on the eye, sometimes he's a little bit soft in the duels. He definitely needs to learn how to win the duels. When Hakan, he's not particularly muscly. Barella, Zielinski, even but you gotta just know how to win your duels when you're going into the duels. You gotta be smarter how you do it, how you go into the tackle, where you position yourself. Yeah, exactly. Like, Broz is deceptively strong. He doesn't necessarily get into the gym with muscles, or he wasn't necessarily bullying or muscling people out of the way. Brozovic, he would, slide his way. Rather than going shoulder for shoulder, he would be the one, because he knows, well, I'm not going to go shoulder for shoulder with this guy. I'm going to, get the slide tackle in, or just find, his own way of getting to the ball before the other guy. You just have to manage the way you handle the duels. Yeah, we've already talked about it, Loom. The goal that I think Bastoni, to me, is the biggest culprit on that goal conceded. My opinion, anyway. We looked at some of the screenshots for that. But yeah, man, I don't think there's too much else to discuss here. This is very, very nice from Inter. This is the last 5 matches in Serie A. So Inter are actually the most informed team in Serie A as well at the moment, even with the one loss in there against Milan. After we come back from the Super Cup, we do have Atalanta who have picked up form, so we do have to watch out for that. I still would count Atalanta as a big game this season. I know they're way down in the table at the moment. Wait, let me take out this. They're 12th at the moment, but I would still count them as a big game. You got to take into account the last 5-6 seasons of Atalanta, not just because they've dropped off this year, but you see them how they're doing in the Champions League as well. They're still same quality team on paper in terms of the players they have. I would count them more of a big team than Como. I know that Como are doing better, but as in over the last few years, what Atalanta have done and the quality of players they have, I would put them ahead of Como still. So that's a difficult game when we get back from the Super Cup, whether we win or not. No injury news. It's Inter is basically like North Korea when it comes to releasing injury news. But we know that Dumfries is probably out till 2026. Darmian apparently is going to come back to team training, but I don't think he's coming back for the Super Cup either. Hakan we might see in the Super Cup, but we'll see in the upcoming days. He has not been given a medical test, which means his injury isn't serious. But again, with Inter, you never know with injuries. These guys never tell us anything. So two up top will be Super Cup preview. I think it will be, we'll do general thoughts, of what Anthony feels like for the Super Cup. Does he want to win it? Whatever. What's our expectations? And of course, just general catch up, because we haven't had a two up top episode for the last. I think it's been over a month and a half since we did the last two up top. So just general catch up since then of what's happened and what's happening in Serie A. Okay, yeah, that's true. Let's Atalanta. Yeah, the second half of the table. There's a small team. Yeah, that's true. Hopefully, Inter and the boys count them as a small team as well. Maybe we should count them as a small team just for the fact that the way they behaved with us in the summer from Ademola Lookman as well. But yeah, we should beat them for that behavior for sure as well. Bologna and Juve playing now, hopefully a successful hate watch. Yeah, even when Juventus aren't competing for the Scudetto, that's always a nice hate watch to have. Hopefully Italiano can do good. Zeki says Darmian might be back for the Super Cup. Okay, that's good. I think we do need some numbers at the back with Dumfries' injury. So I hope Darmian will be played more as a centre-back. But who knows? Luis Enrique isn't really, putting real stake, claiming his stake on that right-hand side at the moment. So you never know. You might see Matty Dams again as a right wing back in 2025. But yeah, thank you for everyone coming through. I really appreciate that. Yeah, no, I never lose sleep over Supercoppa, but yeah, it's just about making amends for last year. And this is a fresh. I know it's the same players, but under Kivu, like that's a fantastic way for Kivu to, put the foundations in. Get rid of the negativity of the last season, get a trophy under his belt, which I count as a half trophy. At the end of the season, to me, Supercoppa I count it as 0.5. Maybe if you're in the Scudetto, of course, that's 1 plus Supercoppa, that's 1.5. But it's still a trophy. It's still a big game, especially if you win against Napoli or Milan. So to me, that will be a big statement from Inter. And finally, these guys winning a big game. Maybe that's the change of our record. But I hope that doesn't mean we stop winning against the smaller team. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Yeah, Inzaghi never won at Genoa. That's what I'm saying. Don't underestimate this. Marassi away at Genoa has not been an easy game for us the last few seasons. It has not been easy. Thank you, Mac. Appreciate your support as well. Thank you, Mattia, for always handling the chat and moderating as great. Oh, yeah, we didn't do our man of the match. Who was the man of the match, guys? And we forgot. Thank you, Delulu. That's usually the way that we wrap up. Fotmob was giving it to Barella, which, I mean, he was good. Created 9 chances. What the hell? Bloody hell, that's crazy. 9 chances is a bit crazy in terms of chance creation. But I guess he was also taking the corners today because there was no Di Marco and no Hakan. So we have to be real about that. He was taking the corners. So that might be some of those chances created. But honestly, I like Zielinski. I like Zielinski's game. I like Bisseck's game. No, not Luis Enrique. There's nothing. They literally did nothing, Luis Enrique, apart from a few decent passes. Barello, Zielu, obviously Lautaro. I mean, Lautaro did get the game-winning goal. I know it came in the first half, but that Lautaro's goal, and when people want to say he's bullying smaller teams or scoring goals against smaller teams, but Lautaro's goal today, guys, that's 3 points. That's 3 points, Lautaro's goal. Not B6 one, because B6 one is the 1-1. Lautaro's goal is the game-winning goal. So yeah, usually they just give it to kind of the game winner, the Serie A. They're pretty boring and predictable like that. Yeah. Lautaro. Okay, yeah, let's give it to Lautaro. I mean, I think he's recovered form. I think he deserves it. I think he had a good game. Maybe could have even had another goal as usual with Lautaro, but yeah, good performance from Lautaro. But as I said, I do not know how Bastoni got 8 point. Oh, okay, so he won the most duels. So yeah, in terms of that, he was very good. Actually, yeah, I must say that, like, in general, he actually did have a good game. But Bastoni, not going forward for once, he was actually good defensively. But that one mistake or one lackadaisical moment, one moment where he just switched off, which is this one here. No support to Akanji, no covering, no defensive IQ. That lets him down. But in general, actually, he was pretty solid on that side. So I must say that. But I think 8.4. I mean, that's why, in these algorithms, these match rating algorithms, they'll never see that he was involved in that, because he was not, in the algorithm's mind of these football algorithm, he didn't duel there. There was no defensive action there from Bastoni, so there was no involvement. But this is why you shouldn't just rely on match rating apps to get your opinions on how a player performed. So 8.4 is definitely way over the line, but actually he didn't have a bad game, but he was, in my opinion, the biggest culprit of the goal we conceded. But yeah, fair enough. Lautaro, man of the match. And keep a lookout on the channel. Actually, I think we're going to do it on the Interworldwide channel, the next two up top. So keep a lookout for that. And obviously, I'll do a match preview for all the Supercoppa games. But yeah, it's nice that we're going to be top of the table at Christmas. So we are the Panettone champions for this this season, which usually isn't a great sign, but I'll take it. And yeah, keep a look on the channel for everything coming up next. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the thumbs up. If you haven't, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Ciao ragazzi, always Forza Inter. Thank you Lautaro. Thank you Bisseck.